Our third candidate for buy or sell, Lyle. Joey Votto, are you buying or selling?
Woo! Look, it's a nice idea. This would probably sell some season tickets and tickets in general. It would probably lead to some very quotable interviews, as we know Joey Votto is great at that. It would certainly provide some veteran leadership in the clubhouse. But if we're talking about production, even if it was a backup first baseman and a bench bat, it's not moving the needle. I'm selling. And for the record, I think Joey Votto is a Hall of Famer. That's a whole different conversation in itself. I think he has absolutely done more than enough in his career to get into Cooperstown when it's all said and done. For what he'd do for the Mariners at age 40, not much.
No, he wouldn't do much. And this dude, the MVP, well, a guy who at his peak would walk more than he'd strike out, and he'd hit for good power, and he played in the bandbox. That is Great American Ballpark, but he's had back-to-back sub 100 WRC plus seasons. If he were to play this season, he would be in his age 40 year. His walk rate is down, his strikeout rate is up, and he's giving every single sign of an aging first baseman. So I just said here at the bottom, let him retire and go into the Hall of Fame without a Seattle detour. Just seems a little bit off his brand to come up here to the Pacific Northwest after being in the Midwest for so long, just finally getting out of a 10-year deal that he signed. It would have been after the 2013 season would have signed that deal. So there's nothing really there for Joey unless they really think, man, he's coming here and he's going to light it up as a 40-year-old.
He's missed 168 games over the last 2 seasons, too. So the bill of health is not on his side. Like you said, there's nothing wrong with what's happening to Joey Votto. This is what happens to every great player. Father Time's undefeated. So he's just starting to tail off as his career is aging toward the end. And he's played 17 years. He's now 40 years old. I know he wants to play one more season like he's talked about, which is why we're sitting here talking about it, saying that whether it's with the Reds or not, I'd like to give it one final go. With the Mariners, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. That might be a guy where if they signed him, he wouldn't make it a full season on the roster.
Would it change your mind if I said his projected contract was 1 year, $5.5 million?
One WAR's worth what? About $8 million? Do we think Joey Votto even puts up one WAR or a 0.7 WAR in 2024? I'm not sure.
No, he doesn't. He was worth exactly 0 last year, and he was worth -1 the year before that. And again, that's in limited time with missing 168 games.
It is pretty remarkable that he had near a career season in 2021 when he was 37. But again, when you look at his 2 seasons after that, he's just doing what every great baseball player does. He's aging with time, and it's just starting to come to the end from him. Maybe somebody signs him. Maybe there's some contender out there that would pick him up and see if he's got any juice left for one final year. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Mariners. Again, it'd be fun. It's a nice idea, and he'd probably give some great quotes in interviews. Maybe on some of the mini mic stuff, if we ever asked him to do it, he'd give us some laughs. But on-field production, yeah, I've got to sell.
So selfishly for us, we'll say buy, but for the Seattle Mariners, we're going to say sell. Just for a tiny bit of context. So he struck out 25.5% of the time last season in 2023. At his peak, he was striking out anywhere from 16 to 11% of the time. So just want to give you some context of where his bat speed is at. It is not at his peak levels. And his Baseball Savant page also at his peak would be highlighted in all red. And this year it was no comment. No comment for Joey. I don't think he wants us sharing those numbers, especially as someone who probably looks at his Baseball Savant page quite often. If I'm going to say I would say among players in baseball, he probably looks at it more than everyone else.
Oh, he's a big sabermetrics guy. He's probably on the Mount Rushmore of guys that would look at their Baseball Savant page. Him, Brent Rooker. There's probably a couple others. Off the rip, I don't know if I can give you 4 this second, but there's definitely some guys that look at it a lot. Votto would be one. Look, we're big Joey Votto guys. TJ and I both think he's a Hall of Famer, but again, for what he'd do for the Mariners, it just wouldn't make much sense.
It was my favorite segment ever on MLB Network when he was just sort of reciting Ted Williams' book on hitting to, I think it was to Brian Kenny. That was fabulous television. And I'm sure every old person watching their TV there was like, what? What are you talking about, dude? And that's Joey Votto. he'd be a great guest on this podcast. I would say that. So Joey, when you retire, we got you. We got your media appearances locked in right here on this show.